Now? All right, so
Hi, my name is Kirsten Henry, and I'm at preschool right now for student teaching, and I just got done in kindergarten.
my name is Susanna Brewster, and I'm currently teaching 6 sections of ninth grade English, 3 regular, 3 advanced, in the state of Missouri at Ray-Peck High School. I think I was most worried about my relationship with my cooperating teacher, and I wasn't sure how it was going to go. I was afraid that my cooperating teacher and I would have very different views on things and that we wouldn't be able to work together very well. So that going in was my biggest fear.
My biggest fear was communication with my teacher, and it actually didn't go too bad. The only thing was breaking the ice between them and just starting that conversation and getting to know each other.
It was not a problem at all. I have a fantastic cooperating teacher, and the two of us have had really great communication throughout, and we have been on the same page in like pretty much everything. So I've been very fortunate. I know that not everyone is as fortunate as I've been, but for me, that has not been a concern.
Just be really open and like just find something quirky about yourself and let them know it, because then it kind of breaks the ice, or do something kind of ridiculous, because then you both laugh it off and it's fine.
Um, I know that my cooperating teacher has had several student teachers in the past and has had several students in for like practicums and things. And one thing that she's expressed that she has appreciated about me is my willingness to help out in whatever capacity she expects me to. And so, like, by the fourth day in, I was already starting to teach and do things in the classroom, which wasn't what Graceland had outlined. But that was what I had kind of worked out with her. Um, and so just really be willing to do whatever it is that they're asking. I mean, within reason, obviously, but I think take every opportunity that they give you to teach and to do things with the kids and write lessons and just take advantage of it all.
My worst one was we had a parent come in and pick up their child who did not have full custody, and put a restraining order against the father, and we have not seen that child since. So that was our worst experience.
One of my worst experiences happened pretty early on. My cooperating teacher decided that she wanted me to have the class entirely on my own for a week, and she would spend her days grading in the library, and I would be in the classroom without her at all. And my fifth period is extremely rowdy. We have 32 students in that class, and over 3/4 of them are boys. And I had just gotten them all settled down to do independent reading, which they're terrible at because they have not had to do it in previous classes. And so they were all doing their independent reading, and then a fight broke out in the hall.
Oh no.
And it was very loud, and they all heard, and they were all very distracted, and I could not get them back on task for the rest of the class period. And just the makeup of that class meant that it was very, there was no control. It was so difficult trying to get them back on task. And I was struggling because I was on my own, and I just felt like I had no authority whatsoever at that point. And that's a really helpless feeling.
I'm pretty comfortable right now until someone else comes in the room. Like when the principal comes in the room, it throws me off, but I get right back on track because I know that it's more important that I keep my focus, because if I keep my focus, the kids will keep their focus too. And sometimes you just have to stop in the middle and acknowledge the fact that, yeah, there's someone else in the classroom. This is who they are, why they're here, but let's get back to the lesson. So it didn't really take me that long to feel comfortable because I just jumped in and I figured it out as I went. And the best thing is just to be real with the students.
PDS really helped me, and I encourage any student teacher that thinks that they would like to do that or would like any more information, to go to Michelle or Tanya and think about that, because I know knowing the teachers and knowing the students got me a lot more comfortable going in the spring and being able to just jump right in. And I'm already on day 4 of my second placement on full-time teaching, so I think it made me a lot.
100% agree, because I did PDS too, and the kids, like, they already know who you are, so they're already asking you questions and coming to you for help and stuff like that. And so I guess as soon as I started teaching full-time, or not even full-time, as soon as I took on a class, I was like, okay, this is what we're doing today, this is how we're going to do it. And it wasn't like, there was not really a transition, because it just happened.
It took me one day to be comfortable.
That's it?
Yep, one day, and then I was just acting like a real teacher. So
What did you do to get comfortable?
Well, you make mistakes and then you move on.
You can always take what they're doing and then just tweak it just enough to where it's still their concept, but it's kind of more of like your idea behind it, to where, you know, like if it's discipline or anything, you know, motivation, or, you know, for like the PE, you know, like just even the warm-up, you could change just a little bit, but it's still their warm-up, but you've kind of...
It's your concepts,
yeah,
your attitude,
you've adapted it more towards your teaching style.
And a lot of the times, I know with me, I don't know about these guys, but my cooperating teacher liked some of the warm-ups that I come up with, and now he's implementing that in his own warm-up. So
when I started taking over, there were some things that I didn't necessarily like, and I talked to her about it. And I didn't talk to her like I talked if I could change it. And so, like for instance, of a morning, they have so much time to do their work, and while she was teaching, they do their work and then they get to go to their centers. Well, some of the kids, they had like 2 or 3 things to do, and they were taking this large amount of time and never getting to go to the centers. And I thought the centers were really beneficial. So I put this time limit on them that they only had 20 minutes to do these 2 things, and if they didn't do it, there's going to be a consequence. And the consequence was they're going to have to walk at recess or do something, and then they still have to finish it. So the first couple times, there was a lot of kids that were walking at recess because I felt kind of bad, but I wanted them to get it done so they could get to the centers. And so then after like a week or 2, they started getting faster, and like by now there's only 1 or 2 that may have to flip it. And so because of that, I think they get more out of their centers. And I see where she comes from too, you know, because they're only in 2nd grade, but like I had a little different approach or philosophy on it. So.
you're not gonna agree with everything your cooperating teacher does, but you got to go with it. It's their class. Like he said, one of these guys said, write it in your journal, things you don't agree with, what you would do differently for the future in your own class. Talk to your supervisor about it. I mean, make sure you tell people and write it down.
I had a cooperating teacher that yelled at all of his students and was just very disrespectful of everyone. And he yelled at a student for having chips when the student was starving and hadn't had lunch yet, and like sent the student to the principal's office for having a bag of chips in his classroom. And so it was just really difficult to work with him because he just had terrible relationships with the students, but at the same time it's still his classroom. And so just understanding that like it's not my place to say something, but to let the student know that I'm there for them and it will all be okay. So even if you don't really get along with the cooperating teacher, it's still their classroom and you still have to respect that. But at the same time, you can have different relationships with your students even though your cooperating teacher doesn't have those relationships. So you're still able to have that professional relationship with the cooperating teacher.
Right.
You and your cooperating teacher might not always believe in the same thing, but it doesn't mean you're wrong or they're wrong. There's always different ways of doing things, and like that's an opportunity to reflect on how to do it in different ways and how it benefits the students in different ways.
And if you get the opportunity to do things your own way, definitely take advantage of that, and definitely see how that impacts the students both negatively and positively.
little kids, watch when you say, "Does anyone have any questions?"
No one.
Yes.
Because
You will get
you'll
80,000 hands.
You'll be in a physical education class, and we will be talking about anything in the world. So I actually spent a 30-minute class with my kindergartners, sitting cross-legged, listening to what they all got for Christmas, because I accidentally asked one kid what he got for Christmas. Then I had to go write down the order of, okay, yeah, and then next thing you know, I'm sitting there like this, listening to every single person and what they got for Christmas.
My best experience so far has been we got a student who would only eat mac and cheese and tacos to actually eat other foods and try new foods. And so it was really cool because we went on a field trip and I sat next to him and I had a ham sandwich and he had one. I was like, hey, look, it's pretty good. And he tried it and he ate everything out of a sack lunch, which is the first. And the mom was like, what did you do? And we're like, I sat next to him and gave him food. So it was really neat to see that. Just relax and go in with an open mind and wanting to just jump in. Just jump in and help wherever you can, because it shows the teacher that you're willing to be there and you're committed to being a teacher.
I would say not procrastinating. Definitely get your work done. Going to bed early really helps.
Coffee in the morning.
Coffee in the mornings.
Coffee at lunch.
You just test it yourself. You'll figure out ways that'll, get you up and going.
Watch everything. I think really, obviously, like it comes down to relationships with the students. And so for the first few days that I was student teaching, I made it a goal to learn like all the names of students in 2 classes each day. And I would start, talking to them as they came in, referring to them by name, and starting to form those connections very early on. I think that really is key, because if you have a good relationship, not only with your cooperating teacher, but also with the students that you're working with, your time will be a lot smoother, and they'll do what you expect them to do because they respect you.
Listen to Michelle.
True.